All right, so I would like to use this time to have a brief discussion about the media and specifically The View. So, The View is struggling to find a Republican replacement for Miss Meghan McCain that recently departed from the show. And look, I don't watch the bullshit. I don't watch TV generally. I especially don't watch mainstream media. The View is a talk show. It's a talk show. It's a form of media. Um, but that's what I want to get into. So they're looking, this is an article from Politico. They're looking for a Republican replacement. Just take a look at the different keys scattered among this article. I'll break them down for you, of course, but here we go. Before taking off for the holidays, the four long-standing hosts of The View had a message for executive producer Brian Teta. We're tired of the rotating cast of Republican guest hosts. When Meghan McCain departed in August, Teta initially told The Wrap that he was taking a little time to find a replacement. Since then, ABC has tried out a variety of conservative fill-ins, including Essie Cup, Alyssa Farah, Morgan Orticus, Condoleezza Rice, Carly Fiorina, and Gretchen Carlson, all repugnant figures. Nearly 6 months in, the show has yet to settle on a permanent replacement, and now the long-term co-hosts Joy Behar, Whoopi Goldberg, and Sunny Hostin are upping the pressure to pick a successor and voicing their displeasure at having to introduce new guest hosts every week after week in seemingly endless process that they find disruptive to the flow of the show. Right now, we still do really need a conservative voice, Hostin told New York Magazine in November, and we need someone that's not duplicative of anyone else on the panel. According to a spokesperson for The View, the program will continue to audition potential hosts in the new year, bringing some women back for a second term. Farrar will return in January, and the show will bring in other big names like Barry Weiss and Lisa Singh. Terrible. Neither of whom exactly fit the conservative label, while the network continues to conduct focus groups on the audience reaction. Sources close to the show said that the search has been stalled as executives struggle to find a conservative cast members who checks all the right boxes. They will not consider a Republican who is a denier of the 2020 election results, embrace the January 6 riots, or is seen as flirting too heavily with the French conspiracy theories of the MAGA wing of the GOP. But at the same time, the host must have credibility with mainstream Republicans, many of whom still support Donald Trump. The problem is that they bring people on under the mantle that this woman is a conservative when they're never Trump, so they don't represent the country, said one of the rotating guest hosts. At the same time, the anti-Trump conservative can't be seen too chummy with other co-hosts as the network's market research shows that the audience wants to see the women spar. Sources said that this has hurt the chances of Anna Navarro, a regular fill-in on the conservative chair who worked as a surrogate for Joe Biden in 2020. She is perceived by the producers as too friendly with the other hosts and not a traditional Republican. They are really looking for a unicorn, said a former show staffer. They want someone who is going to fight, but not too hard, because they don't want it to be ugly and bickering. It doesn't help that there's a perception that whoever sits in the conservative host side is on borrowed time, with prominent Republican former co-hosts like Nicole Wallace, Elizabeth Hasselbeck, Abby Huntsman, and McCain leaving the show with claims of being bullied by their co-hosts and ABC executives on set and off, while veterans like Goldberg and Behar have thrives. Sources say that the show was eager to recruit young libertarian Kat Timpf, but she turned them down because of the show's reputation for treating conservatives poorly and her contract with Fox. I think I'll just stop right there. Yeah, I think I'll just stop right there. So what this article does is basically just gives you all the confirmation that you needed, as if you didn't already know, that the View and shows like it, but specifically The View, is just a bunch of theater. It's just a bunch of theater, and it's a bunch of women who are entitled and extremely arrogant, just essentially putting on a show for you and the people that watch it, the mindless, brainless people that watch that bullshit. I hope you heard what I just read to you. So they're looking for now. Obviously, apparently all of those people probably self-identify as Democrats. Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, and the rest of them. I can't remember their names, whatever. But there's always like one conservative, I guess, to kind of throw in some contrarian takes every now and then. But notice what they're looking for here. They don't want anybody who's going to be too hard right, like too Trump supporting. They don't want a denier of the 2020 election. They don't want a supporter of the January 6 riots. They want somebody that they can get along with, but disagree with, but not too much, because they don't want to show too much of a fight. They want it to be kind of chummy, but not too chummy. Do you realize what's happening here? This is what's wrong, not only with The View, but with corporate media in general and mainstream media in general. They're not giving you the news. The View doesn't give you the news. They do bullshit like this, which is put on an act to show you, oh, it's Democrats versus Republicans, and they just kind of just do bullshit. They don't tell you that we're currently starving Afghanistan after we pulled out of the war. We've frozen all their money and assets, and we're only allowing them to get a little bit. And it's been projected, there's an article in the New York Times, that over 1 million children will starve this coming winter because we've frozen their money. Yeah, that's what happened. They won't talk about the drone strikes that's killed innocent people. They won't talk about the fact that we're aiding and abetting Saudi Arabia as they conduct the genocide in Yemen. They won't talk about any of this. No, they don't talk about our corrupted healthcare system. They won't talk about the patent protections that's still in the vaccine. That the fact that we're actively aiding and refusing to allow the rest of the world get vaccinated so we can put COVID to rest. This is a global pandemic. Need I remind you, they have a very specific job. They're looking for a Republican, but they're all the fucking same. That being those people on The View and in mainstream media. And their job is the following. It's to toe the line for the establishment, okay? That's all it is, okay? They talk within a realm of conversation where they don't deviate too far in either direction, up or down, wherever they may go. Their conversations are constricted, and they put certain emphasis on certain things to lead you a certain way so that you can believe the bullshit propaganda that they're pushing. That's all it is. They don't tell the truth on these shows. They just tell you what they want you to know. If they told the truth, then things would be a lot different. Okay, it honestly would. The opinions of a lot of the American people would be different because, Americans, they watch CNN, they watch Fox News, they watch MSNBC and One America News Network, all terrible outlets to get news from. And The View is just another one of them. And this is absolutely sad and ridiculous. How many clips are there of The View and people on The View smearing figures like Bernie Sanders and the progressives in Congress and what have you? I mean, and when they're saying things that make sense, but that's part of their job, is to do exactly that. It's to continue the status quo and to push propaganda for the establishment. So this bullshit of them trying to find a Republican, trying to find someone that's not going to rock the boat too much and not a big supporter of Donald Trump, but all these fucking requirements that they're throwing out there, just know that at the end of the day, their show is complete bullshit. They're not telling you the news. If you watch the shit, I highly recommend you stop immediately because you're not learning anything. They're not going to tell you anything relevant, okay? It's theater. It's all an act. They do the shit. They're a bunch of careerists is what they are, okay? It's really sad, to be honest, that this is what we have as a mainstream media in this country, and I'm sure those people on The View would be the first to tell you that they're unbiased and, they just tell it how it is, that they're straight shooters, when that is the biggest lie in the world. They're among the most biased in the world, okay? They're biased in terms of spewing propaganda for the establishment, for the healthcare industries, for the military-industrial complex, for the fucking people that fund their show. That's what they do. Look into who funds The View. Look into who keeps the show running. And look at the long list of fucking corporate executives and different corporate entities. That's who they do news for and in favor of. It's not a secret. It's no big revelation. It's nothing that requires a lot of thinking. That's what it is, and that's what it'll continue to be.